Good afternoon. I'm Q. I'm a Lubin School student, senior, marketing major. I'm originally from Boston. This afternoon we're here to pitch to you guys my idea of a online editorial platform, sort of hybrid. Before I get into it, initially what my idea was to create like a publication in a sense to connect and almost elevate artists amongst each other and sort of build a community behind the idea of being creative and getting to meet more people in your city. So the goal of this entire venture was just to create, connect artists with each other. I wanted to do that through commerce, editorial networking, which is a loosely used term, and also an interactive gallery feature. I just wanted to build a community behind a lot of artists, so keep it very social and keep it very almost community based. There are three main elements of the venture. Initially, I wanted to just be an editorial platform, like an online magazine. Going through the process, I realized that it's a very saturated market. It's very hard to penetrate the publication market, especially online, as print is getting a little defunct. But the elements are the journal, the eye, and the store. The store will comprise of relevant artworks from artists we curate through the publication, as well as art supplies and other sort of cool trinkets that we curate throughout urban cities. Push Your Eye is a almost innovative platform where we give galleries a 3D view. We offer users the ability to interact with galleries through an application, both on the phone and on the web. The journal, like I said, is the editorial platform. So with the target, there's three main segments, so two main and then one last segment, the donor. The artist, of course, will be very involved. All of our target is very aware of like modern technology, very tech savvy. The donor is very benevolent in the fact that they are socially responsible and they do give back to sort of charitable causes, the MoMA, the new museum, the Met, and that sort of thing. The young urban professional is someone who's very aware of what's going on. They're very up to date on social media, Facebook, Twitter, that sort of thing. So they're always looking for the latest network to be involved in, to meet more people. The value proposition that this platform offers is newness and accessibility. The goal is to be the first online interactive museum. The market gap, what we aim to bridge the gap between is users who want to actually visit these museums and don't have the time or the means to get to an actual city, and the actual museum that wants these visitors but is in a location that they actually can't be in. My implementation came in 3 steps. The first one was a private viewing, then what I called the community push, and last was a gallery outreach. The private viewing, I was able to secure a space in Williamsburg at a very small gallery near Lorimer Street, where I hosted one of my pals, Sean Powers. He's a well-known skater and does a lot of street art. We were able to reach out. Prior to this, I did some research in Lower East Side. I found about 25 galleries between Lower East Side and Chelsea, where gallery directors were willing to give me their email, and I reached out to them, invited them to this private viewing. I think it was a Thursday evening, the 10th of October. And out of the 15 gallery directors who were actually invited, 8 actually attended, and about 5 left remarks regarding the actual exhibition. This is just a picture of Sean there. These are just 2 of the pieces that he had up there. He did have a few more, but I just want to show them. The next part of the implementation was community push. So a few weeks after the initial private showing, we did a flash event, and this was sort of kind of like a guerrilla tactic where word of mouth, just kind of reaching out via Twitter, Facebook, kind of getting everyone I can to come to this event, mostly creatives. A lot of the younger art directors and more social artists that I've been able to connect with initially were there. And the purpose of the event was just to bring talented people together, people who may not have had the ability to meet each other before, just to be in the same presence and network with each other. We were also able to get some pretty good awareness going. We were using a hashtag #PusherFlash. We were able to get a few tweets and a few cool twit pics. The last element of the implementation was the gallery push, where I actually went out to galleries with a camera and a buddy, and then we propositioned gallery directors to let us shoot their gallery, and we shoot them in a few different angles, a few different ways to create a curation of pictures that could be walked through as if someone was actually in there in person. So the photos that we use are in construction for like a mock-up platform that isn't quite complete yet. But also, in addition to taking photos, we were also able to speak with a lot of the gallery attendees, some of which offered donations to the platform because they backed the idea of a new interactive museum platform that would allow them to see this art from the comfort of their home or from the comfort of a cafe. Also, most of the gallery directors were optimistic about the idea. Some of them didn't see a real need for it, but they were open to the idea of allowing their museum to be on a platform for others to see in different locations. Next is my validation. So as far as the editorial goes, as I said before, that was like I first started off as only an editorial platform. Then I realized it's a very saturated market. The content specifically that was being used for this was very niche, specific to New York, wasn't as broad as it could have been. And also, the journal wasn't as avant-garde as the Interactive Museum was. It wasn't something to capitalize on. It was very insular, almost helpful, but not necessary. And so a lot of the feedback, a lot of the comments were just a lot of local, wasn't very progressive for the platform. Some secondary research I found, only a mere 26% of consumers prefer tablet or mobile version of a magazine over its actual print counterpart. So despite magazines actually losing money and dying as an industry, people still prefer to read a physical copy of a magazine rather than scrolling through on a tablet or a mobile device, which does pose a potential threat for the platform as a whole. And also, the US alone, 64 million digital magazine issues were delivered this past year, well, the year before last in 2013. With the Flash event and with the private exhibition, I was able to sort of, in a sense, validate the target. I was able to bring awareness using the Pusher Flash tag on Twitter. We were able to connect with artists and gallery directors. One of our artists was able to meet a gallery director known as, his name was Ethan Cohen. He operates a gallery on Chelsea. I want to say it's on 18th Street. It's a little blurry, but one of our younger artists, this is Brooklyn, his name is Joel. He does a lot of abstraction, almost very reminiscent of Basquiat. And he was able to meet Ethan at our Flash event. They exchanged contacts, and recently this past week, maybe 2 weeks ago, I think they were in Miami together because Joel had to be down there, and they were able to meet up and do some business together in forms of selling art. I mean, although us as a platform didn't profit from that at all, it was nice to see something that we did put together benefit other people, and that was the idea, is a social venture anyhow. There was a third element, the web shop, which was never fully launched. We did do some surveys with gallery directors and also with artists to find out what exactly they would buy online and how to facilitate the process of them making art and buying art, whether it be pieces, paintbrushes, canvases, pastels, and any sort of thing. The online shop wasn't launched, but we did get some good feedback on surveys on what to have on the online store when it does actually launch. Going forward, to kind of pivot and re-implement, I do think there is a need for a physical presence in a controlled sense, maybe a small circulation of print magazines to be placed in strategic galleries, some Lower East Side, Brooklyn, Chelsea, up and down the east side of Manhattan as well. The print copy will just give it a presence that the brand lacks. I mean, you can only do so much online, but seeing it in person kind of, you can build a more personal connection with the brand. So like I said, my validation of the market told me that the application is pretty innovative in the sense that it can bridge a small gap. It's just how necessary is the app itself. So gallery exhibitionists and artists will be the backbone of the firm. So that could be a potential threat in the sense of relying on a certain target to provide the content, provide the meat for the firm. But it actually could be a weakness for the platform altogether. But thank you. Any questions?
Yeah. Is there? What I didn't get. Where is the revenue, or is there a revenue element to this whole thing? In other words, in terms of the financial side.
So financially,
Yeah. Where does the money come from? That's what
the money comes from initially with the interactive gallery. It'll be initially operated on a donation base until we get more than a few galleries, because I don't want to charge. We don't want to charge a subscription
That's what I
for something
want to know.
people aren't familiar with yet. So it'll be on a donation basis. And then once we get more galleries and more people involved and build a network around it, then we can offer levels of tiered membership. If you want to see certain levels of galleries, or you want to see a few in your local neighborhood, then you can buy the appropriate subscription. And also e-commerce will provide revenue. It's just that hasn't been launched yet. And then once the publication is up and running, we can do small digital ads and that sort of thing.
Good speaker and good with following the requirement.